What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classic Climb blog. Hello on another Tech Tuesday. Before we get the Turkey Day running, I know you guys are super excited. Listen, why is 2024 a new year to start your tech career? Listen, so many of you have thinking about it, texting people, messaging me, asking your cousin, wondering if it's the right time. I just saw another video where Amazon had laid off a certain type of worker, but Amazon wasn't laying off the tech folk.
Wondering if it's the right time. I just saw
Hit the
sorry
button.
about that.
Look, Chris got 42 cameras going on over there, y'all. You got to hold on. Let's get it together. And so you're wondering, okay, well, what should I do with my career? Listen, Amazon's going to let go of the guy who's moving packages. They're not letting go of the guy who's fixing the computers and making sure your data is secure and that other issues, in marketing and ads. It's different levels to this. And so I don't want you to fear the recession. I want you to actually lean into it and get some skills. So with no further ado, welcome to the show, Mr. Chris, Mr. Jumpstart IT Academy. Talk to our audience. Tell them who you are.
Thank you so much, Erica. So I'm Chris Johnson. I'm with Jumpstart IT Academy. I've been in the tech industry for 30 years. I started in the tech industry in the military at 19 years old. I've been excited ever since I got my first opportunity when I was installing operating systems with floppy disks. If you're old enough to know that, then you can roll with what I said. Other than that, what we do at Jumpstart IT Academy, what we essentially do is we help new or existing professionals transition into the tech industry, and we're excited to help people out. We do consultations, we do coaching. We also have a school, but what we do is we take you through the consultation to see what you need, because we want to ensure that what you get is what you need. So we're essentially advocates for developing sharp professionals that can make a contribution and an impact into the tech industry at the same time, make legendary changes to their life or create generational wealth.
And you guys, inside the chat, we have the lovely link posted there. Chris, a little feedback there, but it's okay. Chris, the people are kind of nervous. They're like, do I need to have math? Do I need to have coding? Do I need to have all these things? What do I need to get into tech?
Well, to get into tech, it's a lot of skills that technically don't really have anything to do with tech.
Mhm.
I mean, you need discipline, you need resiliency, you need maturity. You need to be self-motivated. You need to be able to take initiative. You need to have character. You need to have integrity. These are all these different things that people really don't think about, because even through the studying process, Erica, I'm sure you've studied for certifications. You got to have discipline. You got to be consistent. All this is rooted in character traits. So if you already have drive, if you already have a solid character, all you're doing is taking advantage of what you already have access to, which is who you are personally, and you're applying it into tech. And some people are in careers, Erica, where they cap out at $50,000 to $75,000 a year. I've had hundreds of calls where people have told me that. And in tech, there's no income limit. So when I say why should you get started in tech in 2024 with a new tech career, is because if you're experiencing any of these pain points that I just described, then tech is the place for you, because you have access to opportunities to create yourself and create unlimited amount of wealth that you desire and you choose.
Okay. And so, Chris, you're seeing a lot of these people. First of all, I think they need to take a self-assessment of their personal skills that they currently have, right? Like, what are the skills you currently have and how can they be used to transition? And so many times inside the Breaking in the Tech group, we have like 33,000 people, and every day somebody's like, I'm a salesperson, I'm a school teacher, I'm a nurse, I'm a this. And I'm like, wait. Just write down what you have, like the skills you have going on, and reverse engineer your job search. Because this article right here is talking about how to get an entry-level job. And so what are some of the things you're seeing people are kind of doing backwards or need to kind of improve in how they job search?
Just like you said, it's a matter of extrapolation, meaning that you need to see the end in the beginning and then work backwards. When people ask me questions like, should I code? Should I get into data science? Should I do this? It's sort of like you're going into the door of tech expecting to know what your end is in the beginning when you didn't even consider your end. What I say is, what is your personality like? What are some things that you have an inclination towards? What are some things that you know that you can do, no matter if because see, Erica, I've worked on some tech problems for 24 hours straight. So if you have a
Ooh.
passion for something, I have a passion for network engineering. I don't mind working on 24 hours straight. I work another 24 hours if my body can't handle it. Now, if you know you have a certain passion, which we can't understand that passion until you like, that's why I encourage a consultation, because what we do is we'd like to find out and unearth what it is that you want to express but don't know how to express. We have we essentially have a questionnaire that we walk people through to be able to get them to see who they can be in tech. So
Mhm.
I like the extrapolation, which is know the end, but get those important ingredients, which is those things that are personal to you, who you are, what your salary expectations are, what careers you've already done, what industries you've already been in, and then let's kind of put that in a mix and then figure out from my 30 years of experience in tech how tech could be a benefit to you, but more importantly, how you can benefit tech.
Chris, a lot of people are saying, well, these jobs are asking for 4, 5, 6 years experience. I don't have that. I don't know if I should apply. What is your recommendation to some of those folks?
My recommendation is to use that same mindset with someone looking for a spouse. Now we have all these
Mm.
ideals. We have all these ideals, right? But the
Mhm.
reality is, there's a lot more to it than what is black and white,
Mhm.
because you have preferences, but you also have areas where you're willing to compromise, and you won't know that until you actually get into tech,
All right.
right? And then you start kind of figuring out what you exactly really would want, and you know what I mean, and what other employers would want.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So entry level, right? And
Hmm.
I don't even like the word entry level really, but so sometimes people are thinking, okay, I want to learn on the job. And I've heard a lot about contracts, right? Should people be open to contracts? Should people be open to part-time work? Should people be open to temporary work? What should people be open to?
I think people should be open to whatever they have a palate for. For
Mhm.
example, if you have, let's say, like Dave Ramsey says, have a 6-month budget, right?
Mhm.
If you have that 6-month emergency budget and you're transitioning from a career non-tech to a tech career, and you already know, hey, my probation is 3 months, but if anything happens, I can get on unemployment, and then I could, use 3 months of my reserve and then go back to my regular field and then build that 3 months back up, and my life goes back to normal. So I would say take those types of things into consideration so that when you enter tech, you enter with a footing that's firm, and you're confident in your approach towards entering tech. And entry level jobs, should you have a part time job? Should you have a full time job? I say you should get whatever it is that would make you meet your requirements.
Mhm.
I know personally, I don't have a problem taking consultation jobs. Some people have a problem with it, but if you go through a recruiter, you work for a recruiting firm, they're going to, if somebody's concern is, well, I want to make sure I have benefits for me and my spouse and my children, you can get benefits from a consultation firm, like a recruiting firm. If they
Mhm.
recruit you, they got the relationship with the employer, they can put you on their health plan. So all that stuff is done. And some people are concerned, well, when I leave that job, I'll have to say I worked for, like, let's say K Force. I don't do that. If K Force gives me a contract and
Mhm.
I work a year on that contract and I leave in 2 years, I put the employer that I work for. I don't put K Force. K Force was
What is
essentially
K-Force?
K Force is a recruiting company.
Ah, okay.
It's one of the top recruiting companies in America. And if you work for, let's say, K Force,
Mhm.
then what you're going to do is you're going to put the client that they hooked you up with, because you working with a recruiter or a agency that gets you a job, that's your partnership with them. But you are actually filled it out to work with the client. So I say
Right.
I wanted to dispel some of those things right there. If anybody understands anything about getting a job through a recruiter, uh, you don't have to have a permanent employment. You can just take a year contract, get some experience. By the time you get your experience, let's say you work on a contract for a year or 2 year, once you get exposed to all the projects and the experience, your next step is going to be stronger than when you first got in there.
For
So
sure.
I wouldn't worry about, oh, I want to get a permanent job. lay off on that. All the benefits that you can get from a permanent job, you can get from working a contract. And if
Mhm.
you have confidence and integrity for your craft, you wouldn't worry about, oh, what if they fire me? I mean, come on, you can do that. You take the same
Yeah.
mindset with a permanent job. I mean, you know how it is. They can fire you at any point.
This is what I want y'all to understand. Any job you go work, your job is definitely a way to have networks, be building your LinkedIn, be talking to people, still be going to happy hour meetups. Like I think sometimes, and this is, I'm just trying to be nice. When people have a job, they think I'm just going to show up and that's all I need to do. No, like when people say, "Oh, I would never want to start a business," that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work keeping a job because you're gonna have to kind of enjoy and network in your environment and meet new people. This isn't like factory work where I'm just gonna show up to the assembly line and do my little tingly peaks and I'm gonna go home. No, no, you have to talk with people. So someone has a question, and I know it's a little early, but I want you to address it if you can.
Yeah.
I'm 52 and I've been driving over the road for 19 years. For the last 4 months, I've obtained the Google Cybersecurity Cert, the Google IT Support, and Qualms certification. Am I on a good start?
I would say you're on a good start for gaining general skills.
Hmm.
But what is it that you, just like we had talked about in the beginning, there's two things that have come up that have been gems that I've already heard that if I was a novice, I'd be like, wow. So one of the gems is extrapolate. Know what do you really want? What are your salary requirements? These are the type of questions that I ask Erica during a consultation.
Hmm.
Because what are your salary requirements? What are some of the intangible skills that have been inexpressed in this question that would benefit you greatly if we start evaluating what position that you should be in? Now, is this a good start? It's a good start for gaining general skills, but what is actually your major goal, and what skills do you already have that we can maximize and optimize your potential in tech so that you can get the salary that you want? So is it a good start? Absolutely. But where do you really want to go?
Mm. And what if a person doesn't know where they want to go? Should they book a call with you and try to say, "Hey, like I'm just trying new stuff. I'm taking classes. I'm trying to do something different here." Because a lot of people I think just don't know.
Exactly. I would say go ahead and book a call. The reason I say this is because I remember I had a call with a guy who was a handyman and he wanted to transition into tech. After
Mhm.
we did a full evaluation of him, I just told him, I said, you know what? After looking at your situation, I would stay being a handyman. It's not like he didn't have the
Mhm.
potential, but he's telling me things about his life that I just said, hey man, like he's telling me like, nothing deep, but just, hey, I've had this life event and that life event. I said, look, because of these things, which can't be expressed, just writing on a chat, then
Mhm.
I can give him advice that's tailor suited for him because you're talking about a major decision when
Mhm.
you're shifting. And so so yeah, so I would say that. And the second thing I would say is, we brought up the extrapolation. The next thing Erica hinted upon, but I'm gonna put it in one word. You got to be entrepreneurial. It doesn't just stop after, let's say you do get in tech, it doesn't stop after you get the job. You need to be entrepreneurial in an environment like this. The company that you work with is not looking out for your best interest. I'm just telling you the truth. They're running a business. And so they're looking at the best
A
interest of that business.
business.
Exactly. So you need to look out for the best interest of yourself. And the way to look out for the best interest of yourself is to, when before you start, find out how you can maximize your opportunities in tech. And the best way to do that is getting mentorship, is getting coaching. I mean, I'd love to tell you it was something different and then just give you the answer, but the reality is you need somebody who's seasoned, who can see you right where you're at, because see, I know where you're at because I've already been there. So
Mhm.
it's like my coworker would say, hey Chris, I'm your leader, I'm just telling you where the potholes are so you don't hit them like I did. And that's essentially what I'm doing. I want to tell you where the potholes are, so and that's why I say fast track to tech, so you can fast track. You can skip all the potholes and the mistakes that I made.
For sure, for sure. And you guys, I want you to understand, I love doing YouTube, but 9 times out of 10, like, we can give you a generic answer and it will not even fit your life. It's so much easier to get on the phone and connect with someone to kind of elongate. Because I've been on the phone with people, they're like, "Oh, I want to do this, invest in that." And this. I get on the phone with them 5 minutes and I'm like, "You do not want to do that. You want to do the opposite. You want to do this." Like sometimes something sounds good to us, but doesn't mean it's going to work for us, right? So you may have an ideal that you're going to come out of the truck and you're going to go to this type of office. You might go to a whole different type of office. You might even find technical positions within trucking. Like there are tech apps that deal with trucking. Keep trucking, all kind of there's all kind of freight companies that need people that are technical. There's a million things that you can do. And so I think it's always best, you guys, if you kind of like it's just like a little investment in yourself. Like, okay, I've watched a lot of videos, I've studied. Maybe I should book a call. Maybe I should talk with someone who's a little bit further ahead than me. So that's just my 2 cents on that. I I went through a lot of interview processes and I realized like, oh, I'm stronger in this, or I'm stronger in this soft skill, or I'm stronger in that soft skill. And so I'm glad I went through the process and talked to several people first before just jumping out there, because now I'm like, oh, okay, well if they sound like this at the end of the call, we like your tone or something weird, then I know I'm okay. That one I'm not getting that job. Keep it moving, and keep on moving to the next one. So
Exactly.
I've had a couple interviews like, we really love your tone. And I'm like, what does that mean? That
Yeah, what
means
does
I'm
that mean?
not getting that job.
Yeah,
Okay. And that's okay. That's all right.
absolutely.
So on this article, it's called 11recruiting.com, tips on building your tech career. It says work on your transferable skills, do your research, present yourself well professionally, build experience, learn the basics, network with the right people.
Same thing you said.
hmm Let me see. Because I told y'all, even just I know this sounds funny and I always bring it up, but like I literally went to Afrotech in 2019, and like I'm at a party and the people are laughing and they're like, Facebook person like, well, do you want a job? I can put your name in. And it was like I kind of laughed, but I'm like, y'all got to realize that sometimes it's as simple as a conversation. So I just want to dispel some of those myths. Sometimes it's just like who you know, not what you know.
It's not always linear.
hmm
Most people like who are asking questions in the chat, they want me to give them a linear response. And even if I did give you a linear response, guess what? If you took a scattered approach, like Erica is talking, like you took the time to go to like Afrotech or a conference, you might get into the industry quicker than I'm telling you. I
hmm
might give you a plan that with everything you have, the quickest you get in was probably a year or a year and a half. You understand that? But you might go to a conference and you might be working at Amazon a week later.
Right. And,
That's
and
life.
and listen, I'm a big believer in I hate to say it, I'm gonna cheat. What I'm gonna do is I paid Octopi to apply to hundreds of jobs for me. So I would get emails. They were like, "Are you interested in this career?" I'm like, "No." But thank you for but you just applied. I'm like, no, not interested. So, that's also a little bit of like I think the best thing is for you to start interviewing, start applying, and see what comes of it, honestly. So that's just my little 2 cents. But anyways, let me keep going. How to get ready for your job in tech. Now, this is off of Free Code Camp. They have over 3,000 free hour curriculum, lots of tutorials. So again, how to be industry ready. It talks about a group of students from India. And again, after spending 15 years in developing software, releasing products, managing teams, clients' expectations, they basically came up with things to help share with people. He said there are three types of people in the industry. That's nervous. He said following people who need career guidance and a path to find to accomplish their career goals. They're seeking feedback and validation from people already doing the required things to grow in the industry. Doing this set of people are already doing the things needed to grow in the industry. They stay relevant to the latest and greatest things out there. They sharpen their skills periodically. They help their followers grow by sharing knowledge and information. And there are fewer people in this category. Take note of that, right? Doing plus what's next. This set of folks are not only doing things, but also creating specialties for the future. They cultivate visions of what's next, work towards it with a lot of passion. Their efforts don't necessarily have a result in some extraordinary output, but they keep trying. Again, fewer people are in this category than we discussed in the doing. So, again, if you see the red dots, it's the doing, the black dots are following, and the doing plus what's next, which is very few dots here, if y'all can see this right here. So talk to us about that. What's up with these three types of people, Chris?
I would say the followers are following. To me, that sounds like shadowing, like some type of apprenticeship. Okay, that's what it sounds like. I'm just saying that's what it sounds like to me. And the doing it sounds like somebody has taken the initiative. And you'll notice that there's very few people who are doing that. Meaning, I was just talking. I had a master class with my students, and they're clamoring over the doing part, which is creating labs, creating sandboxes, creating a virtual environment where you can test a lot of these ideas. The doing is where you're going to get that experience. Once you get that experience, whether you get that experience on the job or whether you get that experience at the house,
Mm-hmm.
go out and get that experience. Most people will take a course or they'll read a book and they'll be able to see they're smart enough to pass certifications. I'm not on that smart level like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm a tactile learner and I think in pictures, so I have to do, right? So
Right.
but even if you are a person that can learn from a book and you can pass an exam, once you get to the interview and you have the smarts to pass the interview, if you can't do it, you're gonna go out the door real quick, right? That's just how it works. Because if there's a situation of downtime, they're going to expect you to be able to do exactly what you said in the interview. Now,
They be like, "You
the
can't
next
do it." What do you mean you can't do it?
exactly,
You over there
exactly,
sweating, about to get fired.
and that's how it literally works. And so you'll have the talented people who can do. They cover for the people who can't do. And what frustrates
Mm.
me is the people who don't want to learn how to do, and they're just kind of like gliding by and becoming friends with people and things like that. I don't recommend that. I recommend people to be confident, competent, and competitive and courageous. I call those the 4 C's. That's what I
Mhm.
recommend people to do. Because if you're confident, then you know what you're doing. If you're competent, or if you're competent, you know what you're doing. You're going to be confident because you know what you're doing. You're going to be competitive because you know what you're doing. And when a situation of stress occurs, you're going to be courageous. You're going to be able to take calculated risk and solve problems quicker than your counterparts.
So, yeah, all that agree. So the guy was saying, how can I help? How can you advance your coding career? Funny enough, he says build habits, walking, writing, exercising, learning, find your passion, identify, fuel, renew, connect with people, social networking for developers and developer communities to,
Completely.
again, Twitter, LinkedIn, Showcase, Polywork. What are these Polyworks and Showcase?
Polyworks and Showcase, I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Apparently, they're like places people are connecting and sharing information. What else? Let me see here. They said stay curious, of course. Develop side hustles, interesting, freelance, open source, GitHub, courses, ebook, teach, community building. Why would someone in tech want to start building side hustling? Why would they want to do that?
The reason you want to build side hustles is because your path in the tech may not be linear.
Mm-hmm.
It may be through you going to a nonprofit and let's say setting up 5 servers for them,
Mm-hmm.
setting up some routers and some switches or some virtual machines, or doing some type of project management for them. And let's say you're doing this pro bono and you do this as a side hustle for a year, and that's going to count as your experience.
Mm-hmm.
And when if you do that, what's going to happen is once you get to that job that you want, let's say you did a project management for a nonprofit. Once you get to the job and they do the interview, they're going to look at that experience as if you got paid. So they most likely or probably wouldn't hire you as a beginning project manager. They may hire you as a mid-level or even just a project manager, right? So it could make a really good boost in your salary. So you want to be able to do all these different things because that's the squiggly line into that, that's that what looks like chaos as you embark on your tech career journey, so that you can keep the understanding that it doesn't have to be linear. It might be through you teaching a class. You're like, well, what am I doing teaching a class? You could teach what you know. If you
Mm-hmm.
passed the A+ and you took sufficient notes. I was telling one of my students this. I said, if you take good notes and you pass the A+, you can start. You can develop. If you understand the material and you've studied the way you need to, and you've done the labs, you can teach other people certain parts of A+. You can go down to the local library and say, "Hey, teaching on hardware, about the CompTIA A+," and that's going to be accounted to you as tech experience. You can have them. I mean, if you're not going to get like a whole year of experience, at least you have gained a reference through the library. So there's a lot of different ways, and that reference could be a big deal. You know. It could be a seriously big deal because if the director of the library is saying that at least it could vouch for your character.
For sure, for sure. Don't neglect soft skills. Okay. Now, what are soft skills? Okay. Patience, empathy, problem solving, communication, teamwork, owning up to your mistakes or accountability, time management. Before you go off, let me tell y'all something. When I be on here joking that I'm a vocal athlete, like communication, being able to express yourself, being able to clearly express yourself and talk with others is a skill. We may call it in our community the gift of gab, or man, that boy ought to be a preacher, or yada yada yada. Like people make jokes about it, but like literally, that's a skill. If y'all understand how many people I've walked across, like I remember talking to somebody and I thought they were like a teenager, and come to find out they were 29 years old. I said, "Oh my God." Like how hard life must be for you. So again, communication is important. Using more words, not less words, is just as important. Problem solving is important. Can you solve a problem? Well, easy way to get fired is to be the person at work that's always telling somebody about a problem, but no solution. That's a quick way to get fired. I want y'all to know that right now. Okay. And then again, teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. But go ahead. I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk on these soft skills.
I'm glad you elaborated like that because see, Erica, these are skills that people neglect. Everybody is so focused on I want to make six figures in tech. I want to make six figures in tech. Why don't you focus on being more patient? And the interesting thing, Erica, these are things you can work on with that family member that gets on your nerves. Just learn to be more patient with them. Learn to say a kind word or learn to keep your mouth shut if they're arguing with you or seeking to provoke you. These are the types of things that I experienced in tech. I had people yell at me. I'm not kidding, like spit yelling. And I had patience
Be
with
like,
them.
boy, if you don't get your curry breath from out my face, move. All that
You got
spitting.
to have patience with because people can get fired for lacking patience because they might argue with the wrong person,
Oh, I
and
I
end up
had I
being
have a friend who actually got fired for that. He was cussing. He's 5'4", and he was like, "I just want to be a manager." And I'm like, "Dude, ain't nobody letting you be a manager over nothing. The way you be acting."
you
Go
got to
ahead.
you
I'm
got
sorry.
to you got to control yourself. So empathy would be understanding somebody else's perspective. Problem solving, that is the crux of tech because we get paid to solve technical problems.
Hmm.
Communications, tech people don't like to communicate. That was the first book that I wrote, Communicate Not Communicate, 8 Key for Leaders and Professionals to Communicate Effectively. That is a part of the bundle in the consultation bundle. uh, Tech people don't communicate enough. And
Hmm.
what happens is they're super, super smart, but you put them in a room, it's like pulling teeth to get them to explain something, right? To get them to articulate what really happened and how we can get that rich knowledge out of them to be able to solve the problem.
Hmm.
So I encourage people go into tech communicating, go into tech taking these soft skills as being important because the people who are in tech who aren't communicating effectively, they might be super intelligent. They can design or architect something, but once you're implementing and you're in operations and it leads to troubleshooting, that lack of communication is going to bring negative attention to you or to somebody who doesn't understand how important communication is. Teamwork. Nobody likes the person that's bringing and that's dragging people down with a bad attitude
Hmm.
or a lack of integrity, practicing subterfuge, lying on people, and not being
Negative
truthful
Nelly.
about certain things. Hiding stuff. It's like, look, if you messed up, let it come out now. Because if it takes us 8 hours to troubleshoot, and we know it's you, and we know based on the structure of the problem that you already knew it was you, come on, man. Like, no, you're gonna lose credibility. All right, don't do
It's
that.
like you gonna really be fired, okay? like before we could have been like, oh man, that was everybody makes mistakes. Now we like 8 hours in, hey, you fired. After we done have to spend manpower fixing your problem, we you pissed now. We pissed now.
The manpower. You said it. So you got. Let's say you got 10 people in a room who make $200,000, and we spending 8 hours with something you already knew. You know how much money you just wasted.
Hmm.
But people that don't practice teamwork and don't have foresight don't think about stuff like that. So
Mm.
owning up to your mistakes and accountability. I made mistakes. I taught masterclass on literally. I just told them these are all the big mistakes I made in my career.
Hmm.
Embarrassing, but the reality is I took accountability. You know,
Yeah.
I've had things happen. I just took the manager aside. I even had a coworker and said, "Look, man." I won't tell nobody. It's not a big deal. I said, no, I'm calling the manager and I'm outing myself. I'm letting him know what I did.
Because
And I
somebody
did
later
that.
might use it, so you got to use it. Like
Exactly.
I'm a,
Somebody
I'm gonna
might
tell
use
on
it.
myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell myself. Erica, think about it like right now. So let's say I did something like that years ago, and
Hmm.
then somebody knew that I did something foolish. Hey,
They
make
waiting.
some YouTube video about it.
They waiting
It's
right now at the
embarrassing.
office. As soon as you do something, they be like, "Oh, you know what? You know, Chris was the reason that we had that shortage
Yeah,
6 months ago."
yeah,
Really? Yeah. Okay. It's evaluation time anyway. So listen.
yeah. That bank failed because of his configuration and the security breach. I
Hmm.
don't want to hear nothing like that. So
I'm
time
telling you.
management, you got to manage your time. You got to manage your time, Erica, when you're studying for a certification.
Hmm.
You got to manage your time when you're working. Everything, all these skills right here, every high level person who is working at the highest level of life, who are high achievers, they all have mastered all these skills because they all knew that these intangibles are important. When you get into your tech field or your tech career, they're going to expect, like as a network engineer, that was secondary. That they expect me to do that in my sleep. They expect me to do that even if there was a war going on in the building. I need to be able to think in the middle of chaos. What they want really is people who have these intangibles, but they won't tell you. But somebody like me with 30 years of experience who's already been in all these different experiences for over 30 years, I can tell you this is the real thing. This is what you really want to get.
Yeah, Chris said y'all can't come on here with no BS. He'll tell on himself. I love it. Be like, and what? Now what?
Like you asked me
um,
that question, like, hey, do you know this? I said, no, I'm not familiar with that. You got to be honest. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you, you got to be honest.
for sure, for sure. Okay, let me see what's the other one I had in here. And Chris, what is a hiring time that you think? Somebody was saying, oh, you got to get the right times. Da da da. Eh, You know, is there a myth to that? Is there some truth to that? I've seen that a lot on the internet where people saying there's certain times a year that tech companies hire.
Well, I would say you need to be fruitful in and out of season, meaning
Mm-hmm.
you don't know when your time is going to come. You don't know. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
success success is not waiting for you to be. It's not convenient, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I will speak generally when because I asked the same question to a lot of recruiters throughout the
Mm-hmm.
years, and they have generally told me, and this is the same thing I got in the response to the real estate market. Usually in the winter, there's people are focusing all on being with their family and friends and things of that nature. So it usually starts picking up in January and February. But what I recommend people to do is why I say 2024 is the new year to start your new tech career is that get started now. So by the time you're done, you can at least have one or two certifications finished, or at least know where you're going to go.
Now, I also have this right here. Um, it is talking about how to teach a tech recruiter can help you get hired for your dream. Now let's pause before we go positive. I'm gonna go a little petty. How do you know somebody's is skilled and knows what they're even doing as a freaking tech recruiter? I saw a young man yesterday say, "Hey, I just graduated from college and I'm going to be going into tech recruiting." And so now you got a guy who just graduated 2 days ago talking about he's a tech recruiter. Right? And
Exactly.
there's some people that are called headhunters. That's a whole thing. Like I'm trying to get this guy to come on the channel. We'll see if he'll do it, but he may not. It's called headhunting. Basically, they get paid to throw names around the companies. It's an actual thing. Like I really find it interesting. I wish I could get him to come on the channel. He might not though. But it's called headhunting, right?
Hmm.
And basically you go around finding people and you connect them with companies and companies pay you 5, 10, 15K thousand because you save them the time and the headache. Essentially, high level recruiting or whatever, right? But how can you tell if somebody's a good recruiter, Chris? If we would just start there, or how do you tell somebody's a good recruiter?
That's a good question. Throughout my career, in terms of, how do you know it's a good recruiter or not? I'm just going to tell you based on experience. I don't have, some corporate, words to give you to make it sound all good. I just tell you basically from experience. It's similar to what you're saying about networking and just building relationships with people. The recruiters that I've worked with, I have usually worked with them for years.
Mhm.
You understand? So they got me a contract. Somebody else got me a contract, and I can go back to them, and they might give me another contract, or they're reaching out to me, and I've gone to lunch with some of these people. You know what I mean? Like I've gone to lunch with recruiters when I'm looking for a job, or I mean, this is just the nature of recruiting, or when I'm in a contract. So going to lunch with them is easy for you to kind of understand them and get to know them and have a relationship with them. And the proof is in the pudding. Meaning, if they're able to get you a job,
Mhm.
then you know what they're doing, right? That's literally how I've measured them. If they
Can I
said,
get a
"Hey,
job?
yeah, hey, I'm going to submit you for this rate and do this and do that," then it's all good. But what I don't like, Eric, is when recruiters, I tell them, "Hey, this is the rate that I want," and then they come back after the person is interested and say, "Oh, we couldn't get you this rate. We can give you this rate." All you just
Would you
told
like
me is that,
$42? No, I said
yeah,
$52.
no, yeah, because you know the people like me now, and so now you eating my salary. You know, I'm not working like that. You know what I'm saying? So that you gotta be able to, so fighting, or not fighting, but dealing with recruiters is the nature of the business. They are needed. Recruiting
Mhm.
in tech is called headhunting, because you're just looking for
Ah.
a tech. That's what it's called. We call them headhunters, because they're essentially looking for people for these companies. And
Mhm.
you know, it's supply and demand, and finding the resource that, you know, the client is demanding out of the pool of supply of, you know, the labor.
Okay, okay, okay. So this article says that you need to be available. Answer recruiters' calls and be responsive when they leave messages or send emails. If possible, don't let more than 24 hours pass before you return a call or answer an email. Time sensitive. Now, what are your thoughts on that one?
My thoughts is, if a recruiter is reaching out to you and you're looking for a job, you
Mhm.
know, hey, how bad do you want a job? I don't play around. You know, if I'm looking for a job, especially I know it's a job that I know I can do this job, and I know it pays very well, and my recruiter is communicating with me, then I'm going to stay. You know, if they email me, I'm emailing back. I'm telling them these are the times that I'm available. You know, for interviews. I would ask them, you know, insightful questions as far as what is the position like, you know, because they know the client. I'm like, hey, just give me the real deal. Like, how's the hiring manager? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because if you read something on a job report or a job description, and it says we need somebody with a can-do attitude, you know, who doesn't bring the team down, and you know, I'm
You be like,
at
well,
this
who's
point, I'm
on the
thinking,
team?
yeah, I'm,
Okay, is the
you
team
know,
already down and I'm coming to a down team? Somebody let me
yeah,
know. Am I
you know,
coming to
it's got,
am I coming to a cubicle of sadness? I need to know now. Am I coming to
like, you
work
got
and nobody
morale
got
problems
look, am I coming to work and nobody got patience for me? I need to know now. And this is why
today.
y'all gotta be listen, y'all got to be ready to like bounce from these jobs. They will bounce from you if you're not qualified. I just
Mhm.
want y'all to understand. They will fire you, let you go. You need to be nimble and ready, like up, on to the next. Because there's just too many opportunities out here. And one of
Yeah,
the opportunities is if you have a skill, like I hate to say this, but my friend was saying he knew a guy was terrible at his job, but he kept getting job offers. And so it's gonna take about 90 days for them to be like, yeah, he gotta go. You know what I mean? Like he stayed getting
yeah.
offers. And so you gotta just if you get your foot in the door and you get the skill, I'm not saying get fired a bunch, but I'm saying at least you're there to attempt. You know what I mean? You gotta be nimble enough to go on to the next one, go on to the next company. So
And
that's just
that's why I
yeah.
teach competence. I teach people to
Mm-hmm.
be competent. Be competent. Know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that? Become a master at your craft. Because if you're a master at your craft, you won't have to worry about what's happening. You know, because you know, in being working on jobs, there's a lot of drama. I mean, and I'm not
People just dealing with people any day of the week
dealing
is
with people. Yeah, exactly. Because
drama.
you know, you got people like you know, you got people just dealing with life events. You
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying?
They mama
And things in
died.
which,
They dog died. Something
thank you.
happened. Uh,
You said you did. I had a coworker, his dog died. He took 2 days
listen,
off, and he was super sad for a long time. You
man.
know,
This girl told me
it's
there
just
was
the
a girl at
reality.
the office just crying all day because her dog died.
Yeah,
I said, you might as well go home, baby. Go ahead and take that day off because you ruining everybody's cubicle right now. Just
exactly.
go on home, looking sad. And I'm not minimizing anybody's dog dying by no means, but I'm just saying
Yeah, exactly.
please go home. That's what I'm saying. Go home, take your ass home. Now, a part of this article that had me cracking up, it was like, learn about your recruiter's background. First of all, if your recruiter used to make Philly cheesesteaks and then next day they're a recruiter, I need to know. I need to know how did that happen?
Yeah.
What's going on? Like we have to be on LinkedIn, kind of studying, observing how long has this person been doing this and why are they doing it? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'll say, usually when I'm dealing with, see, being that I have so much experience in this industry, when I get on the phone with a recruiter,
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually kind of like, all right, when I'm dealing with that person that just graduated from college and has all this gusto energy, like they
They
figured out
sound
everything
12.
and is correcting me when I'm telling them how the industry works. Like I'm walking you through this process. The only reason you're here is because you have a relationship with the employer.
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of figure that out. And then I'm gonna tell you how I get around that. What I do is a lot of people are submitting, there's a lot of different recruiters with that same job rec. I'll just
Mm-hmm.
contact another recruiter and kind of fill them out. And I go with the recruiter that I feel best with. I just drop that person because if they're acting shady in a conversation with me and not speaking with knowledge, then that's how they're going to represent you to the employer. Can't
Oh
have
yeah. Listen, they talk like they from Philly. Don't do it. No, I'm just messing, I'm just messing. Y'all, I'm just messing on Philly, y'all. I'm messing on Philly. Um, okay, let me see. What was another thing in here? Let's see. Uh, it says set your expectations by ideal job. Inquired about expected hiring times. Y'all, please. I had a company I interviewed for. I was so excited. I looked up their hiring timeline. Well, their interview timeline process was crazy too, but it was like 4 weeks. I was like, baby, in a month, I'm gonna be doing something else. If it take y'all a month, the first interview and the last interview take a month, honey, I'm already going down the street. You all better going out my face. And so I get it. Companies are, slow to hire, fast to fire, but yeah, you need to ask what's the timelines on some of this stuff because you'll get excited about a company and they taking 3-4 weeks to hire you, and then they'll let you go as soon as if you just don't quote if you don't work out. So I want y'all to make sure you ask those questions. It's also said aim for face to face interactions. I know everybody want to Zoom everything, but sometimes you need to like. Some of y'all have quirks that need camera time. Need camera time, so the employer can figure out. Oh yeah, nah, this is a no. This is a no. It's a no. Um. Okay, let me see. They said tell the truth. This is so funny. Tell the truth, y'all. It says, listen, what jobs am I qualified for? What companies will hire me? How do I find the best jobs for my skill set? It basically said ask your recruiter that and see if they tell the truth. That's basically what it said.
exactly. Because the reason that you want them to tell the truth is because you're the one that's going to get embarrassed
Mm-hmm.
by looking unprofessional. And depending on what market you're in, you don't want to pigeonhole yourself with a company that a recruiter misrepresented the job. And they're like, for example, if you don't have a certain programming language that they wanted,
Mm-hmm.
and you weren't really, you thought that was just optional, and you go in there and then the whole interview is a technical interview, let's say on C#, and you're sitting there like that's going to make you, first of all, your confidence is going to take a bruising,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to take time to build back up. So you want to make sure that your recruiter knows what he's talking about and not positioning you to fall into a situation where it may lower your confidence for a season.
Right.
So some recruiters send me programming jobs like I'm a programmer. You know what I mean? It's like,
No, thank you.
to me, these are these inexperienced recruiters, like you were saying, that just got out of college. They just want they just want a red-blooded person in the seat. You know what I mean? That's all they want. They just want somebody who has tech background to sit right there at that company because they're so focused on, man, if I get this guy to sit here, that's $5,000 for me. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So, and if you're in an environment where there's a lot of moving and a lot of shaking in the industry, and they're filling a lot of recs, that could be like, okay, if I get two people hired, that's $10,000. You know what I mean? So they may be misguided by the amount of money that can make. So you want to check them.
They just throwing people up in there.
Yeah. check them for let them tell them they got to tell the truth to represent you properly.
For sure. Hey, T Kane says hi from Philly. Hello, Philly. Hi, everybody. Listen, one of our nice requests, one of the most requests we get are from Philly. So I don't want y'all to ever think I'm never coming to Philly. I'm coming. I gotta order my bulletproof vest in the mail first, but I'm coming to Philly, and I want Philly cheesesteaks and good attitudes when I come. Okay, that's what I want. All right. So I'm just letting y'all know now. Okay. What's the other one I had? Let me see. Let me remove this real quick. So, Chris, we talked about around January, February when people are gonna start, getting into hiring mode, interview mode. So, should somebody be online like applying today? When do they need to start applying?
I would say if you already got certifications and you already have a plan of action, then go ahead and apply. If you don't, if you don't have a plan of action, if you haven't extrapolated, and you need to work through a lot of these things to find out where you should start, what path you can take, go ahead and check out the consultation bundle. Erica will share that with you, I guess, in the
Mm-hmm.
chat or in the description. And let's link up a call and let's figure out how to fast track you through tech, because this could be your prep period so that you can, start 2024 literally living your dream.
For sure. I also wanted to see if you had any opinions. If you don't, it's okay. About Sam
Mhm.
Altman getting fired from OpenAI, and then he got hired literally 9 hours later by Microsoft. Half of the employees at OpenAI are like, "We will quit if y'all don't go get that man back."
Yeah, I was reading
Uh,
about that drama. That I like that, Erica, because that's power to the people.
mm-hmm.
These leaders. I'm just gonna tell you the family drama, right? These
Right,
leaders in
right.
these companies, like they treat us like hey, I'll be up for a maintenance window, and it's just kind of like, all right, I'm done with the maintenance window, and yeah, we need you to go to New York now. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like we're like little pieces on the chessboard,
Mm-hmm.
and so there can be a lack of compassion. There can be insensitivity, but I'm so passionate about what I do that I don't have no conflict with that. You know what I mean? I get paid well, so no complaints there. But there could be some insensitivity and a lack of compassion and a lack of empathy with some of these leaders, and
Mm-hmm.
and with that, they start making these sweeping judgments as if the
Mm-hmm.
engineers won't care. They only care about their job, and the reality is
Right.
they do care. And you find out in a very awkward manner, and it ends up in like this: public embarrassment. This guy was so valuable to his team and so valuable to the industry that as soon as they let him go, Microsoft picked him back up. And now
Nine
the
hours
the
later, y'all,
yeah, Erica,
they
the
were like,
people
"Hey."
make the company. The people make the company.
Well,
So if
also
they
too,
piss
this is.
off the
Uh-huh.
engineers,
Well, this is my biggest thing, you guys. When you start these companies and people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna raise money. I'm a crowd fund. I'm gonna get, venture capital." You get to a position where you don't own enough of your company so that you don't get put out of your own company.
hmm,
And I don't think y'all understand. Everybody ain't Steve Jobs. He said he ain't coming back. Okay,
yeah,
everybody don't want to play that game. Like if you felt, and then people said basically they want the board members to resign. Let me tell you something. Once you get on a board somewhere, man, you acting a fool. I took a I took a training with United Way on how to be it's multicultural diverse development leadership, and it essentially was training up different people in the community, Black, Asian, Latino, whoever, to be on boards for cities, states, all kind of companies, because cities had started being like, hey, we need some people, some people from the real. Everybody can't be a 6-year-old white man on the board. What's going on? And so this is something I want y'all to okay, Don Christopher said he's officially not been fired yet. The media keeps saying that Microsoft is open to working with him. Sam still has to make a decision. I don't know. Twitter, he just said I ain't going back. I'm not going back. He just posted that like earlier today. I ain't going back. So it depends, Don Christopher. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes officially, but he told him he ain't coming back today. So but yeah, this was a late Friday. So y'all, it's only what was it Monday? Is it Tuesday? It's Tuesday now. So
yes,
again,
exactly.
yeah, this
So I'd like
happened.
to add something to what you said, Erica, as
Uh huh.
far as being in a company. I Well, I work for a company in San Diego,
Hmm.
and as I was at this job fair, there was a guy there who started some really fantastic company, and like you were saying, he didn't own enough of it, and they kicked him out of his own company.
I'm just, listen. Part
What?
of part of my conversation with y'all, part of my conversation with y'all is always to have these, the funding, the business credit, the just personal credit, so that you can tell people, "F you, here's your money back. Have a great day." And have clauses in the contract, because when times were good and slush money was thrown around for these companies raising money, it's all good. When the tide turns in any economy, you're, oh, you don't own enough shares, you can shut up and you'll go do this. Even though you may be a creator of a business and you know, hey, we're just going to go through a lean time for the next year, we need to do A, B, and C and pivot. Board members would be like, what's the answer that we want? So I want y'all to understand that. That's just that's my 2 cents on that. But y'all can read up on it yourself. Generation 4.0 said, Erica, you got me. This is the biggest fight of my life. I'm trying to go from security to cybersecurity. Listen, I tell y'all, nothing's worse but being 60 years old outside the club or at a movie show or doing some security, and you don't want to be there and you don't want to touch dirty people. Ain't nothing worse. Like, security jobs are some of the easiest jobs in the world, but can be the toughest if you don't want to be there. So listen, don't give up. Book a call with Chris. I put it in the chat. Again, I'll put it in there again because it's tripping. I tried to post it again. It's tripping. Sign up with Chris. Talk to him. See if that's the right step for you. Cybersecurity is the fancy buzzword of the time, but database administration might be good for you. Um,
Exactly.
Network administrator might be good for you, but you don't know unless you kind of talk with somebody and figure out, is this the best for me?
Yeah, so I like to tap into what you were saying,
Go
Eric.
ahead.
Like, you said, well, cybersecurity may not be for you. Uh, when I get on calls, what I do is I want to gather information. My goal is to get to know you. See, I
Hmm.
know the industry, and if I get to know you, then, like I tell people, the industry to me is the school bus, and the seat on the bus is the tech career, and
Hmm.
the destination is success. And I'm your tech success coach. And so, what I want to know is who you are. Where's the best place for you to sit on this bus? That's my whole objective. And the only way I can do that is to get to know you. You may tell me that you have you know college experience, so you've been to college, so you studied this, and you didn't even think anything of it. And that's why when I ask you these questions, it'll unearth a lot of information that you didn't think was important. I've had people that work uh, jobs that they didn't think was really important. I was excited because of the industry that they worked in, and I can tell them how to pivot and get into tech through the people that they knew in that particular industry. So there's a varied approach that is taken in taking you from novice to getting your foot in the door in the tech. Like I said, it's not linear. If it was linear, then you can just watch a YouTube video and just get your tech career going. It's not. That's why you're here watching this YouTube video, to find out that it getting into tech, it can be complex. Some
Hmm.
people, like I said, I had a buddy that was hired. He was just drinking beer at a bar, and then the guy hired him. That may not be your story. Your story
Hmm.
may be like mine, where I was a consultant. I was a system engineer, then I was a network engineer, and I was a consultant for 15 years. And then all of a sudden, I had my big break, and the next 10 years were just blissful, right?
Hmm.
That was my story. I wasn't the guy that I got into tech and I was making six figures. It took me years to get to that level. But that's my journey. That's my tech career journey.
Hmm.
Your journey may be different.
Okay, so it says, and in this also, it says, you guys go look at techcrunch.com. It has great information, whether it's crypto, apps, AI, security, venture, startups, TechCrunch. You have to start immersing yourself in the conversation you want to be in.
Hmm.
I can ask some of y'all right now the details of when Sierra and Russell got together. You're going to know their whole life story, the name of their babies, and where they went to date last night. I want you to know that kind of stuff for tech. I want you to be that immersed, that passionate, that focused, right? We joke a lot in our community wall on this page to drive y'all crazy, but at the end of the day, I really want y'all to immerse yourself. I literally listen to very boring, very dry financial analysts all the time, for an hour a day or sometimes 2 hours a day to get concepts because I know I want to be in that lane. And so again, I just, as we are talking, this just slid up in the comments. As I'm, looking over the page, 3 skills that can make or take you in the cybersecurity career, right? And so again, lateral thinking. Candidates must be quickly pivot when addressing risk and threats. Again, y'all, I'm not paying for this. I'm not paying for this trial. Y'all can go look at the rest yourself. But yeah, I just wanted to show you, like, if you just walk into these different websites, they have so much information. It's insane, really, if you really sit down and really study it for a few hours a day. Somebody
Exactly.
said Generation 4.0, you got this. You got it. Okay. Don Christopher said those AI engineers are making a fortune. Salesforce was soliciting open AI engineers on X to come work for them. There is a lot of money out there. There you go. Chris, what's your 2 cents on that?
There's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of money to be made.
Mm-hmm.
The whole goal is to position you for that opportunity so that you can make that money. And that's essentially what my job is. So that's why I recommend people, reach out, check out the consultation bundle, and let's see where you're at right now and where you want to go, and figure out some of your requirements and your goals, and let's put together a game plan to get you there.
For sure, for sure. Still Kim said, "What's a fake recruiter or a real recruiter nowadays?" If you go look on their, you should be able to look on their LinkedIn and see a long career. I would say maybe preferably a year to 2 years to 3 years career of someone being a recruiter. What's the name of the AI software? It's called Octoply. OCTAPLY.ai. And essentially, you need to be very clear on your resume, because if you're not very clear on your resume and your opening, what happens is it starts applying for everything. Like, I had put something about sales somewhere in the comments, and it was like everything sales, roofing, electrical companies, like houses. I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. So I had to tweak my resume that I uploaded to the computer, because it's a bot, y'all. It's not a person, it's a bot. So you got to be very clear on what you want to search for. So if all your resume history is you worked at Chick-fil-A, and then you say you have one job for something else, then it's going to be like, oh, she wants some more restaurants. Let me see. Boom, 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 boom. Right? It's just a bot. So you have to be very careful. All I did is I changed my what's crazy is I changed my resume twice on there. I changed it the first time, and I had asset management. Well, then I got a ton of asset management jobs calling me, and I was like, dang it. So then I had to tweak it a little bit more, and I changed some of the wording, and then that's when I started applying for just tech companies. So that's just a little tip for anybody who's gonna go try it and be like, Erica applied for me a bunch of weird stuff. Like, I'm sorry, it's a bot. It's not a person. You just have to feed your resume the right way to it. And honestly, some of y'all don't even have to do that. You literally can go on Indeed and upload your resume, and it starts recommending jobs to you. So a lot of y'all are like, I can tell you're not even, let's do the free stuff first. You know what I mean? If it helps, and then go to the paid. So, any closing thoughts for us, Chris, today?
Yeah, so I want to say that I'm fielding a lot of questions, through these calls that I've been having.
Mm-hmm.
I've been going through, different Facebook groups, just trying to get an understanding of what you guys need, what you all need. I'm a big knowledge source, of information. What I seek to do is, shape myself in a way where I can assist you. So the only way I can assist you is you communicate. So best way for you to communicate is let's connect. Let's connect and let's figure out how we can help you, because that's what I thrive on. I thrive on assisting you. That's what I brag on. My bragging is on your success in getting your tech career started, reaching your goals in tech, and becoming, the best person that you seek to be in a tech career. And now is a great time to get ready for 2024, and get just started off just by not knocking on the door, but
Mm-hmm.
kick the tech door wide open
Kick it
and
in.
get yours.
I love it. I love it. All right, you guys, listen. Chris also has a book called Communicate, Not Communicate. It's a red cover book online. You can get Chris Johnson, famous book man. If you go and book the, if you pick the consult, I think you get a. Do they get a discount book or they get a free book?
No, they get the ebook.
They
I
get
give them
the
the
ebook.
ebook for free.
Okay, so I mean, again, you guys check it out. Chris will also be. You'll probably see me tagging Chris on a bunch of conversations inside Breaking Into Tech Careers group because we have literally 33,000 people, and every day it's a good 15 people. Like, where do I start? I'm just start tagging Chris up. Like, here, call him. Just call that man. Because we just have a lot of conversation going on in there. But I thank y'all. I love that y'all come in here. If y'all start seeing my ads on Facebook, please do not click on them. Cut it out. Y'all messing up my numbers. Uh, but you'll see a lot of different stuff coming through. I appreciate y'all. Man, Generation 4 said he just paid Chris. He ready. He said he ready to go. He just paid. Congratulations. I look forward. I look forward to hearing your story and how it worked out for y'all. Anyways, Chris, thank you so much for your time. I'll see you soon in the Facebook Live group at some point here. So thank
Got
you
it.
for your afternoon and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Erica. Thank
For
you all.
sure.
Thank you, audience.
For sure. All right. Be good.
Thank you.